Hi, this is Artvark892 again, and this contraption is the Zveno. It's a TB3 with two I-16s attached underneath. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to build a mission using it, and show you how to fly it, and show you some of the unique properties these airplanes had. Alright, so let's go straight into a mission builder. Alright, now for the most part the Zveno is treated just like the Betty with the Oka. Very similar in a lot of ways. The biggest difference is when it comes to the actual attacking the target. And I'll show you what I mean when I get there. Let's start off with if you decide to use taxi to take off and stationary aircraft with these, be aware that the stationary aircraft list does not have the little SPB name at the end of it. What you're looking for the TB3 is the 4M-34R 1933 one. If you pick the one that does not have SPB on the stationary aircraft list, it will still work. Okay, so let's start off with the simple takeoff mission. Properties, USSR, we'll fill it full of bombs. There's only one of them. Waypoint takeoff. Waypoint options normal. Plane 1, we'll go for the player. Alright. That's pretty straightforward. Now, we'll go ahead and place the I-16s on it. Now, there's two different types of I-16s you can hang underneath the bottom of it. You can either set the I-16 Type 24 1939 or the Type 5 from 1938. We'll go ahead and use the Type 24. All you have to do for these, place nearby, properties, you'll want to set, you don't have to give them bombs if you just want them to keep them for fighter escort, but you should use two, because if there's only one, the bomber will be off balance. If there's more than two, then they'll just appear right there up in the air, not knowing what to do. Waypoint, you leave it at norm fly, set it for the bomber. Okay. If you want to fly one of these two, you can set player here, obviously. But waypoint options and waypoint, you leave it norm fly, leave it all alone. You don't want to mess with it at all. Okay. So let's find a good target, not too far away. Taking her from Dubnovo, we'll go to Gorky. We'll just set something in the middle of the town. Right here. We will set a stationary object. I know what. A truck. We'll just set it as a truck. Okay. This is just a tutorial. Doesn't really matter what the target is. Okay. Now, the same way I showed you how to set the Betty with the Oka, a lot of the same things apply here. For example, when you are setting the waypoints for the bomber, the waypoint prior to the bomber's ground attack mission is going to be the waypoint where the fighters detach. Alright. And another thing, this TB3 with these I-16s on it, it has a very short takeoff run. Even with a full load of bombs on it and the fighters, it gets off the ground pretty quick. So we'll go ahead and just set the first waypoint here. 500 meters sounds good. Give it a turn, bring it up to 1,000. And top speed 197. Alright, we want the fighters to detach. If you're using the fighters for ground attack only, you want to set them about here. It's probably close enough, it doesn't really matter. And then the bomber, whose waypoint they are using, we'll just set it here. Ground attack, set. Okay. So what that means is now that that's the bomber's target, the fighters will drop off here and go attack it. Now, an important thing to remember with this setup is if this is an AI flight, if there's no human pilots flying the fighter or the bomber, the fighters will not detach, even if attacked. Like let's say back here at this waypoint, two 109s jump them. Those fighters, the I-16s, will not detach. They'll stay on because they've been programmed to fly with him, detach there, attack that target, and fly home. Or at least, let's set up the fly home target. Okay. Now, obviously, if you're flying the TB3, you can detach the fighters right here. If you detach them while there's fighters nearby, they will drop their bombs, they will go into a protection role, they will attack the fighters, try to protect the bomber, because the bomber can still hit the target. If you're in the I-16, if you're number one of the two, if you detach, your wingman will also detach. If you drop your bombs and go after the fighters, you can order him to do the same thing. If you're number two and you detach, number one, your lead will not. You're not his boss. You can't tell him what to do. He's going to stay on that airplane as he's been programmed to do. Okay. However, if there is no air threats, no fighters, nothing like that, you get to this point, the fighters will drop off here, they'll go attack the target, and then they will fly the bomber's waypoints back to home. You do not have to program any waypoints for them. Alright, so let's go ahead and see how this works. It's been loading this a little slow on the saving screen. Alright, it's saved. Let's go to play. Simple, simple, simple. Now, in this mission, I do have the waypoints turned on and the icons turned on so you can see what's going on. I'm going to just turn on the autopilot, speed up time.
Привет, маленький. Рады видеть вас. Спасибо за сопровождение.
If you are, I don't know if I went into detail on this, but if you're using stationary aircraft, you do the exact same thing. You just program the fighters, normal flight for the first waypoint, and attach it to the first bomber waypoint, his first taxi waypoint. And then you just ignore him. Just set up the taxi to take off waypoints for the bomber, just like I showed in my very first tutorial, and it'll work just fine. You don't have to do anything with the fighters. Alright, let's sped up, let's follow them to their waypoints. I should have made this a little bit shorter, this might take a little while. Alright, spin around, he's climbing. As you can see, he gets altitude pretty quick. He's going pretty slow. Wish I could speed it up more, but that's alright. Turn south right about here. And go for the next target. When this gets close, I'll slow it down. So you can see what happens. Now, I'll slow this down so I can talk about this for a second. In this particular mission, when the fighters drop off there and bomb the target, pretty obviously they're going to be able to destroy that 323 there, or that ground target. The bomber won't have to use his bombs. So if you wanted to, you could have set this waypoint to another ground target. The fighters would proceed there and strafe it. If they're able to do any good, I don't know, it depends on the target. But if they're not, when the bomber gets there, it will destroy it, and then they will all fly home. Once this target's destroyed, the bomber will basically just go to the waypoint, and it'll fly on. If more targets appear, like I just said, it'll bomb it. So let's get through this mission. Fighters will drop off there. The bomber will have a little bit farther to go before he drops his target. Slow it down. Tell the bomber's already getting ready for his attack. Okay. fighters should be dropping any second. Well, oh, and another thing, if you do any taxiing with this thing, be prepared to run off the road. It's really hard to steer that TB3. It doesn't have brakes. You have to just learn how to use the engines and the rudder. Okay. Coming up to that waypoint, the fighter should drop off right about now. And now they're going to go for the target. TB3 is dropping down to his bomber altitude. Let's watch those fighters. As the bomb bay doors open, it's close enough. If I placed the previous waypoint farther back, the bomber would just kept flying level until it got a lot closer. You can see the two fighters going in. Once the target's destroyed, at this point, since the target's been destroyed, the fighters are going to follow the bomber's waypoint back to base, just like I said. The bomber. Let's see what he's going to do. Is he going to drop his bombs? Target's already been destroyed. Maybe he doesn't. Yeah, he's still going to do it. Oh, wait. They destroyed a target, not the target. You can see right there. Now it's destroyed. Okay. So now he's going to go home, and now the fighters should too. The fighters missed the target. When they said target destroyed, I thought they meant the program target. They've just blown up the building. So now they are going to fly home. And you can see here on the map, they're all turning for this nice waypoint. Alright. So that's how it works. Hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any questions about it. And good luck.